Try it again. Hi, hi everybody. It's me, Sailor Moon, Serena here, and today we're going to talk about the English adaptation hate. Now, I know I made so many videos talking about this that basically it's mostly a nod in the right places, and then it's a shake of the head and others depending to what side of the fence you're on. So anyway, first off, when I talk about the English adaptation hate, I'm not talking about the criticism because everything and everyone you could find fault at. Okay? What I am talking about is the over hatred of everything about it. Or maybe it's more of nitpickiness. For some reason, a lot of people tend to complain too much about the voice acting. I don't really know what they are expecting. I don't know what they were expecting. But I guess it wasn't basically what they got. I don't know. It's like they claim they claim that the voice actors and the voice actresses or the voice dramatizers out there weren't experienced enough or didn't have enough experience. I don't know how they know this, but that was just their opinion. And because they came up with that opinion, they started to complain about that. I don't know. Maybe they were expecting Asian Japanese English. I don't know what they were expecting, but I do know that was the first thing they complained about. And then these people complained about editing. Well, they called it censorship, but really it was editing. But they went overboard complaining about this. For some reason, 3 episodes turned into 2 episodes apparently was something that offended them. And apparently that didn't just offend them. Okay? They also complained or ranted and raved about the characters' names being changed under some type of impression that, I don't know, that they shouldn't have been changed. I don't know. But a lot of these people who complain about it are going to say that they're going to say in different versions the names stay the same. I don't know what they were expecting. I guess they pretended, and I guess this hatred, they pretend to rant and rave about it, because complaining about something that's since 1995 AD, I guess it's easy for them. It's a gimmick for them. They tend to complain. For some reason, they complain about that, like that was the worstest name choices and they could come up with. I don't know. And then they complain about the fact that it was actually dubbed into their language. Now, you basically think that these people complain about it being dubbed into one language. I don't know. It just offends them for some reason. The fact that it was dubbed into their language offends them for some reason. And I hear all kinds of excuses. Oh, people are too lazy to learn more than one language, more than one dialect of language spoken in their country. I don't know. Like, basically, you weren't supposed to have it dubbed in your language. You were supposed to just read the subs, or you were supposed to learn that language, and that dubbing or subbing was a bad thing. I don't know. But that sounds like the worst excuse that I ever heard, for the whole dubbing hatred. I don't know. It just sounds pretty ridiculous. So getting angry over the fact that something is dubbed into your language, I don't know. For some reason I think that this hatred is basically just, I don't know, played up. They want attention. It's a gimmick. So they pretend to be angry at the English adaptation of Sailor Moon. Now, if you think that it was just the Deep version they complained about, no, the Pioneer version, they hated it too. Then they complained about, I don't know, sexual orientation not being appropriately represented. Well, now it's probably a different story, but back then it was a big issue. Maybe it really shouldn't have been a big issue, but back then tolerance and understanding and acceptance wasn't at a big high back then, like it is now. As far as it, yes, maybe there are some people out there that are, still ignorant to it, but majority of people these days are tolerant, respectful, and accepting of it. But back then, basically, any mentioning of it, any showing of it, and saying that characters were this way or whatever, people didn't think it was appropriate for television or the farseer. So that's why Deke had to change characters. That's why Zoidfight had to become female. That's why Pioneer had to make Fisheye a female too. Now, for some reason, they pretend to get offended over this. I don't know why. They just do. They basically pretend to get offended over this, like they're representing people or something, or representing those particular people, when I don't think those particular people even were upset at all. For some reason, no, they couldn't. They could not handle that. So, if you think, and then the Pioneer version got less hatred than the Deke version, you were wrong. That one got its own hatred. They complained about the voice acting again, characters' names again. I don't know. But then you said, what about the Viz version? Well, I'm not sure, because I haven't really heard too many people complain about the Viz version. But trust me, they're probably out there. Probably people ranting and raving about how they don't like the Viz version. For the same reasons, obviously. I guess. And then you got people saying that, oh, I watched the sub version, so whatever. Okay, first off, these people act like that they knew what Sailor Moon was. Some of them did, some of them maybe didn't. But if it wasn't for the English adaptation, I don't think any of them would have known where it was based and adapted it from. So, but I think the hatred of the English adaptation or the English dub, whatever how you want to say it, basically was just a gimmick. And I just think it's not needed. Of course, I'm not saying that a Sailor Moon English adaptation can't be criticized. I mean, there are things about it that people could find fault with. But to pretend to rant and rave about every single thing, from voice dramatizing, to name changes, to transformation and text changes, to edits, and yes, in some cases, even sexual orientation changes. Pretending to complain about every single thing, and even the dubbing. I think that's pretty sad. Pretty sad. And here's another thing before I end this video. And I don't get so much of it now, but back during the day, if you said, and apparently some of these people actually believe, if you like the English adaptation, then you're not a real Sailor Moon fan. I don't know. People used to say that. They used to claim that. Like them. But then you can make that, but then anyone watching any dub could make that same argument. And it's just stupid. So the hatred of the English adaptation is just sad. The hatred of the Deke version, the Pioneer version, and I guess the Viz version are pretty just sad. Okay? That people actually use that as their gimmick. To try to get views, try to get support, whatever the case might be. Some might actually think that this is a gimmick, but I actually do like the English adaptation. The Deke, Pioneer, and Viz versions. So that's about it. I'm Sailor Moon Serena, and I hope you enjoyed this video.